Have you ever felt the unsettling silence of a woman you thought you knew better than anyone, suddenly becoming a stranger in your own home? Imagine sitting across from her at dinner, the same woman who once lit up when you walked into a room, and now she avoids your eyes. Her smile feels rehearsed, her laughter delayed, and her body language whispers something you can't quite put into words. That silence, that distance, is not random. It is a sign, and men who miss it often find themselves blindsided by betrayal. You see, when a wife cheats, it doesn't just live in her secrets, it bleeds into her behavior. She may think she's hiding it, but the truth leaks out in small, almost invisible attitudes. The way she sighs when you speak, the way her phone suddenly becomes her lifeline, the way she pulls away when you reach for her hand. These are not accidents. They're symptoms of a deeper fracture she no longer has the strength to conceal. And if you pay attention, you'll notice these attitudes arriving almost instantly after she crosses that line. The first shift is emotional coldness, a chilling detachment that's not loud, not dramatic, but eerily quiet. A man can sense it, but often he explains it away. She's just stressed, she's just tired. But let me be brutally honest with you. Stress doesn't erase warmth, and tiredness doesn't make love feel foreign. When her affection dies in silence, when her eyes no longer soften at your presence, something else is taking her emotional energy. Something, or someone, has claimed the part of her she once gave you freely. I want you to understand this. A cheating wife does not wake up the next morning and behave the same way. She may try, but guilt is a heavy actor. Her mind becomes split, her emotions torn, and you, her husband, feel it before you can even explain it. That's why so many men describe it as a gut feeling, because her energy shifts faster than her excuses. And while she may gaslight you, while she may tell you you're imagining things, deep down, you know the truth. Love should not feel like absence. The second attitude that reveals itself after a wife cheats is defensiveness. It may sound simple, but it is one of the most striking shifts a man notices, yet often dismisses. Suddenly, innocent questions become battles. You ask, "Where were you?" and her tone sharpens. You casually say, "You've been on your phone a lot lately," and she snaps back with, "Why are you always monitoring me?" The smallest inquiry transforms into an interrogation in her mind, because guilt makes her hypersensitive. She hears suspicion in your voice even when you aren't suspicious, because deep down she knows she's hiding something. This defensiveness isn't about you being controlling. It's about her protecting her new secret world. Think about it. When someone has nothing to hide, they don't fear questions. They answer with ease, with openness, because their conscience is clean. But when your wife is carrying guilt, every word you say feels like a potential trap. She's not reacting to you. She's reacting to the truth she's desperate to bury. Here's the part many men miss. Her defensiveness doesn't always come as anger. Sometimes it shows up as over-explaining, giving you long, unnecessary stories about where she was, who she was with, or why she didn't answer your call. Pay attention to the detail overload. When honesty is natural, the truth is usually simple. But when guilt writes the script, the story becomes complex, filled with nervous details meant to distract you. And there's something else, a shift in blame. If you sense distance and bring it up, she may flip it back on you. "You're paranoid. You don't trust me. You're making me feel smothered." Notice the pattern. Instead of addressing your concern, she shifts the spotlight to your supposed flaws. This is not an accident. It's a defense mechanism, a way to keep you on the defensive so you stop looking at her behavior. This defensiveness is one of the earliest cracks in the mask. It doesn't take months to appear. It happens almost instantly after the betrayal. Why? Because guilt is impatient. It gnaws at her. And the closer you come to brushing against the truth, even unknowingly, the sharper her reactions become. Understand this. Her words may try to convince you you're crazy, but her tone, her energy, and her defensiveness are already telling the truth. She won't admit out loud. The third attitude a wife shows after cheating is an unusual surge of independence. Now, independence itself is not wrong. Every healthy relationship allows space. But the suddenness and the intensity of it should set off alarms. A woman who once loved sharing her time, her thoughts, and her plans with you now insists on secrecy disguised as privacy. She begins creating invisible walls, and if you look closely, you'll see they weren't there before. She starts spending more time away from home, more girls' nights, more errands, more me time. At first, you may even applaud it. You might think, good, she's focusing on herself. But the timing reveals the truth. It's not growth, it's withdrawal. She's pulling back from you so she can carve out space for her double life. This independence bleeds into her language. Instead of saying we, she starts saying I. Where there used to be shared decisions, now there are unilateral choices. She buys things, makes plans, and creates routines without involving you. And here's the painful reality. When a wife cheats, the man she betrayed loses the first-place position in her world. You get pushed to the background while another presence consumes the spotlight. But independence is not just about where she goes. It's also about how she treats intimacy. She stops asking about your day, stops leaning on you for support, stops seeking your advice. The bond of partnership is quietly severed, replaced with a chilling self-sufficiency. It's not that she suddenly doesn't need anyone, it's that she doesn't want to need you. The worst part? She may frame it as empowerment. She may say things like, I'm just trying to rediscover myself, or I just need space. And as a man who loves her, you'll want to respect that. But deep inside, you'll feel the difference between genuine growth and deceptive withdrawal. A woman rediscovering herself does not shut her partner out. But a woman hiding betrayal cannot afford to keep her doors open. Remember this. A wife who suddenly builds walls where there used to be open windows is not protecting herself. She's protecting her secret. Independence, when forced and abrupt, is not freedom. It's camouflage. And if you don't see it for what it is, you'll mistake her distance as self-care, when in reality, it's evidence of betrayal she can't yet bring herself to confess. The fourth attitude, and perhaps the most devastating, is sudden criticism. A wife who has cheated often develops an almost relentless need to highlight your flaws, your shortcomings, and your mistakes. It doesn't matter if you're late by 5 minutes, if you forgot something minor, or if you're just being yourself. Suddenly, it's never enough. She begins comparing you not only to her old expectations, but unconsciously to the man she betrayed you with. And here's the bitter truth. She has to make you seem smaller in her mind to justify what she's done. This criticism may sound subtle at first. Little digs about your appearance, your habits, your effort. Comments like, you never do this, or why can't you be more like that? But over time, the sharpness grows. What used to be encouragement is now complaint. What used to be gentle teasing now feels like contempt. It's as if she needs to convince herself that you are the problem. Because if she doesn't, she has to face the mirror of her own guilt. And it doesn't stop at words. Criticism seeps into her tone, her body language, even her silence. She rolls her eyes at things that once made her smile. She sighs when you speak, as if your voice is a burden. She withdraws intimacy, but then blames you for not trying hard enough. This is not by accident. It's a subconscious defense mechanism, because in her mind, if you are flawed enough, then her betrayal feels excusable. Here's what makes this attitude so painful. It makes you question yourself. As a man, you may start wondering, am I really not good enough? Did I fail her? Is this my fault? That's exactly the trap. Her criticism is not a reflection of your worth, it's a reflection of her guilt. She has to project her own betrayal onto you so she doesn't drown in shame. and yet most men try to fix it. They try harder, become more attentive, more giving, more desperate to win back the approval that suddenly disappeared. But no matter what you do, the criticism never ends. Why? Because the issue isn't you, it's the fact that she has already given herself to someone else. Understand this. When love shifts to contempt, when admiration shifts to constant judgment, that's not marriage anymore. It's the echo of betrayal screaming through her words. There is a moment, often subtle but undeniable, when the mask starts to slip completely. The fifth attitude a wife shows after cheating is a strange mix of guilt-driven kindness, followed by emotional withdrawal. At first, you might notice she suddenly becomes extra sweet, extra attentive, cooking your favorite meal, offering compliments, or showing affection out of nowhere. It feels good in the moment, but beneath it lies something darker. It's not love, it's compensation. It's her guilt leaking through in small acts of overcorrection because she knows deep inside she has crossed a line. But this phase never lasts. Kindness fueled by guilt quickly burns out, and when it does, she pulls away even harder. She may stop initiating conversations, stop checking in on your needs, stop even pretending to listen when you talk. Her body might be present, but her soul is somewhere else entirely. And you'll feel it. The chilling emptiness that settles between two people when one of them has already checked out emotionally. Here's the paradox. She becomes both too attentive and too distant, swinging between extremes that don't make sense. One day, she's overly affectionate. The next, she's cold and unreachable. This inconsistency is not a mystery. It's the war inside her. She wants to hide the betrayal, but she can't silence her guilt. She wants to play the role of a wife, but she can't give what she has already given away. This is the stage where many men feel the deepest confusion. You start questioning, am I imagining this? Am I paranoid? Maybe she's just moody. But remember, genuine love does not oscillate like a broken switch. Real commitment is steady, even in hard times. What you're witnessing isn't mood. It's the psychological unraveling of a woman living two lives. And sometimes you'll notice she starts talking differently about the future. Plans become vague. Dreams become distant. She no longer includes you in her vision of what's ahead. That is not forgetfulness, it's displacement. In her mind, she's already rewriting her story, and painfully, she no longer casts you as the lead. This push and pull, this sudden kindness followed by cold absence, is one of the most devastating attitudes because it keeps you hooked. You feel glimmers of hope, then crushing waves of rejection. But beneath both lies the same truth. Betrayal has already taken root, and her heart is no longer where it once was. Now you see the pattern clearly. Emotional coldness, defensiveness, sudden independence, relentless criticism, guilt masked as kindness, followed by chilling withdrawal. These are not random shifts. They are not phases or stress. They are the cracks in the foundation of loyalty. And if you're a man sitting in the middle of these signs, you already feel it in your gut. You just don't want to admit it. The hardest truth a man can face is this. When a wife cheats, the betrayal begins long before the confession. It seeps into her tone, her silence, her distance, her sudden sharp edges. You may still share the same house, the same meals, the same bed. But deep down, you know something has been stolen. And ignoring it doesn't heal it. Hoping it will fix itself only prolongs the pain. What most men don't realize is how betrayal rewrites the script of a marriage. A wife who cheats is no longer playing the same role she once did. Her energy, her emotions, her loyalty, they've shifted into another world, and you are left piecing together fragments of what used to be whole. That's why it feels like you're living with a stranger, because in many ways, you are. But hear this. Recognizing these attitudes is not about paranoia. It's about protecting your sanity. Too many men gaslight themselves into silence, telling themselves they're overreacting when the truth is screaming right in front of them. Don't let denial blind you. Don't let her defensiveness convince you that you're crazy. Pay attention to the patterns, because patterns never lie. And if you're listening to this and realizing these signs are already present in your life, you need to make a choice. Will you keep ignoring what your gut already knows? Or will you step into your power as a man and confront the reality with clarity and strength? Betrayal doesn't define you, but how you respond to it will. Now, I want to ask you something deeply personal. Have you ever felt that gut-wrenching shift in your partner, the moment you knew something wasn't right, even if she denied it? Tell me your experience in the comments, because your story may help another man going through the same storm. And if this message hit home, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, subscribe for more, and share it with a brother, a friend, someone who needs to hear the truth today.